how do you rebound after failure?
So something that always pops up in my head every time there's a failure is what our apostle said, is that failures are the birthplace for victories. So don't see that failure as like the end all be all, but it's just like a stepping stool of where God wants to take you next. Another way I rebound from failure is first acknowledging that, whew, that did not go the way I intended. So I have to reset myself and reassess and say, okay, God, what do I need to do? What did I do wrong that this didn't work out? And how can I improve moving forward? So I think that's the best thing for me, because when you try to act like, oh, I failed, but I'm just going to do it again and do it again and do it again without change, then like Kayla and Ariel said, you get to the point where you find yourself breaking down and why is nothing working out? And it's because you didn't consult God. You didn't ask him how to improve. So I just think taking time to, first of all, reset. You don't have to get back into the jump of things right away. And then talking to God and reassessing the situation and finding ways that you can grow.
I know for me that when it comes to failure, I don't like it. I noticed that if it's one minor inconvenience, I start to that snowball effect starts happening. Like, oh, just because this happened, now this is gonna happen. But then I realized that something my dad said today, that these challenges are placed in your life to help you grow. So every time something happens, I'm like, well, God, this probably happened for a reason. So what is the lesson you are trying to teach me in it? And so, because, out of failure, you learn a lot. You understand what you went wrong, what you could have done better. So that's something I do. I try to realize that this probably happened for a reason, so I could learn from it. Because somebody said, out of every test, there's a testimony. So that's something that keeps me going. Like, it's going to be okay. You're going to learn something out of this and do better the next time.
I totally agree with what Kayla said. And I have to admit, I am very self-critical. And Kayla could attest to this. I have to yeah, she says I'm drama. I literally, especially when it comes to school, I'm like one of those people that has to get A's. And when it doesn't, then it's like a big pity party. And it wasn't until I got to law school and there's this thing called the curve, and I realized, girl, you ain't gonna get an A in every class. So what you gonna do? You gonna cry? So it wasn't until I was placed in that position where I was like, you know what? Maybe it's not really a failure, but this is just an opportunity for me to see where I just need to stop putting so much pressure on myself and just really trust God. And sometimes what we think is a failure is really God positioning us for something greater. Because I remember the year that I had off before I even got into law school, I was just so upset because I was like, I was supposed to be in school this year so I could graduate this year so that I could start my career at this age. And God said, no, you're not. You're going to take a year off. And you know what? I am so grateful that I did, because I needed that break. I needed that year of a break. So what I thought was a failure, it was actually God aligning me and placing me where I needed to be. And it helped me to see that things are not going to go the way that I think they're supposed to go all the time, but I need to trust in God, and I need not to lean on my own understanding. And in all my ways, I need to acknowledge him, and he will direct my path. And that's just what I live by now, because things are not always going to go our way. We are going to fail, but in that failure, that's when we have to learn how to recenter, realign our lives, and focus on God and his plan for us.
I know we can all relate to wanting something to happen a certain way and having in our mind, it's definitely going to happen that way. And then it doesn't, and you're like, oh man, what do I do? But like you said, we can't lean on our own understanding, and we have to remember that God can see way beyond what we can see. So we sometimes just look at what's right in front of us, and he's already seen the bigger picture and is like, all right, I have a different plan for you, and it's going to go a different way, and it's going to be above what you expect.
What I think about is, what's the fun in everything being easy? If everything went exactly, it was the way it was supposed to go, then how would I be able to help the next person that's going to go through? Where's the chance for ministry in that? But if you struggled and you had to work so hard to get where you are, then that is the way for God's glory to be revealed. And then to the next person to be like, girl, I was in the same place, but let me tell you what God did for me. And let me tell you how he brought me out, and he could do the same for you. So I guess that's something else that I think about that helps me to like cope with the failure, saying, okay, I'm going to learn from this, and then I'm going to be able to help somebody else along the way.